Hello everyone and welcome back to my F1 2020 career mode for the Vietnam Grand Prix. We are here for qualifying right now, and as you can see it is rainy conditions out on track for the entirety of qualifying. So here we go into Q1 now. Typically I've actually quite enjoyed the rainy conditions, and it's made this circuit much easier to navigate, especially in Sector 3, where you have to be kind of pin perfect with your timing. But anyway, not too much to show from Q1. We just did one singular lap, and it was good enough to get us straight into Q2. P8 for us actually, so very decent pace. P9 for Danny Kvyat, so there are good things to come for us, it seems, in this qualifying session. Giovinazzi gets through while Grosjean, Raikkonen and Latifi outqualifies George Russell, interestingly, and Kevin Magnussen knocked out. He will start from the back of the grid, Will the Great Dane. But moving on to Q2 then, and you can just see how slow we have to go around this sort of roundabout, as I like to call it. But anyway, a bit of an awkward line through there, but didn't cost us too much, because as we come around to end the lap in Q2, we're going to get through into Q3 in P8 once again. So that seems to be a happy place for us. I mean, it is in my name. But anyway, Kvyat unfortunately gets knocked out down to P12, as does the Red Bull of Alex Albon, knocked out as well. So he'll need a bit of a comeback drive in the race if he wants to score any decent number of points. But anyway, back focusing on our qualifying session. We are into Q3 for the very first time driving for AlphaTauri, so that is brilliant news, and we'll try to make the most of that as we continue on our lap. You'll notice we are still in the intermediate tyres. We have been all the time in the first two sessions, but for the first time, everyone else is on the full wet tyres, so hopefully that is not a sign that we've made a mistake. Jeff actually recommended the full wet tyres, but it said on the indicator that they were slower. So if we get this lap in soon enough, the intermediate tyres will be better, and if the rain is coming down harder and harder, the full wet tyres, they won't matter what tyres you're on, you won't be able to improve on a time in drier conditions, even if you are on the full wets. So I'm just running off that logic basically, and we'll see what we can do in this session. A lot of understeer, and now the track conditions are really going away from intermediate, but we come across the line to finish our Q3 lap.
And with qualifying complete, let's review our top three today: Hamilton, Verstappen and Valtteri Bottas. With qualifying complete, all that remains is the main event. We'll be live and uninterrupted for the Grand Prix tomorrow, so make sure you join us then.
So it will be a P8 starting position for us. That is absolutely mega for our chances of points in this race. To start in the top 10 is a big boost. So before we get into it though, we will purchase a major engine power upgrade. That will take quite a while to come in, but we need to get these things underway. But anyway, let's get into the race.
The Formula One circus has arrived in Southeast Asia once more, as we usher in a new era and get ready to go racing here in Vietnam. A lap of Hanoi circuit then, 3.4 miles around the Vietnamese capital. A number of the 23 corners take their inspiration from other great circuits, hopefully creating plenty of passing opportunities. And as always, a man with plenty of racing experience joins me in the commentary box. Today it's Anthony Davidson. Tell me, Ant, you're no stranger to surviving the melee of turn one. So how do you keep out of trouble when there's so much going on around you?
There are three main things to worry about there, Crofty: positioning, awareness and discipline. First, you have to put your car in a bit of space and make sure you have room to react to what the others are doing. Then you have to watch your mirrors and listen to the sounds around you to get a sense of where everyone is. And finally, just don't get too greedy. Just because a gap exists doesn't always mean you should go for it.
Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and Max Verstappen lines up alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Bottas, Ricciardo, Sebastian Vettel, and Leclerc, Sainz, the Scientist, Stroll, and Lando Norris, Albon, Kvyat, Sergio Perez, and Ocon, Giovinazzi, Grosjean, Kimi Raikkonen, and George Russell. Latifi and Kevin Magnussen fills the last spot on the grid. Now, it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track.
So here we are on the grid for the Vietnam Grand Prix. So it's going to be an interesting one in terms of strategy. Our options are a 3-stop onto mediums at the end, using 3 sets of soft tyres, or going onto hards at the end. So yeah, it is very unusual. It's going to be sunny the entire race, not a cloud in the sky after all the rain in qualifying yesterday. So that's unfortunate in terms of visibility through some of these corners. But anyway, we'll deal with the sun if we have to. But you can see even trying a 2-stop, it's just so much slower. So it seems that tyre wear is going to be a big deal here. So that is something to keep in mind as we now get ready to go to the 5 red lights. And the lights are out. We are underway for the Vietnam Grand Prix. It's a good start versus Carlos Sainz, and we're going to see if we can make the move on him into the first corner. We're very easy on the brakes, trying not to make any contact with the Ferraris, who are battling away with Daniel Ricciardo. Looks like Vettel is going to get the better of his former Red Bull teammate as we try and go around the outside of Charles Leclerc. No grip out there though. Charles Leclerc holds on as Sainz now tries to go around our outside, but we managed to hold him off and move ourselves up into 7th position off of the start line. So we've gained 1 position from our grid slots. That is a nice start for us against cars that in dry conditions at least are theoretically much faster as we go around this roundabout section for the first time. But yes, that is a very nice start for us, but it won't last long because here comes Carlos Sainz as we head towards a roundabout on lap 3. Sainz round the outside. We're later on the brakes though on the inside line. We just about squeezed back through ahead of the McLaren as Lando Norris has also overtaken Lance Stroll in the opening laps, and he is ready to back up his teammate if he needs to. But as we continue on, Sainz is not going to give up as we head towards the hairpin, and is going to go to the inside, and there might not be much we can do about this. We're going to go for a very wide line, try and take a late apex. Norris though tries to take that hole on the inside, but we managed to hold off Lando Norris. We're still going to try and fight back against Carlos Sainz around the outside as we head towards the Suzuka-like section. We do get the move back ahead of Carlos Sainz and move ourselves back up into 7th position. A great battle there with the 2 McLarens, and for the time being we have come out on top, but that won't last too long because along the straights we just have nothing, and Sainz blazes on past with the DRS. A big lockup though, and we can maybe again try to fight back. We've got a good exit out of the hairpin, but it might not quite be good enough. We'll see if we can get to the inside of Carlos Sainz. We dive down the inside and we just can't get it there as Sainz with a mega lockup there as well. So the Spaniard really feeling the pressure, but he is away and clear now, and you can see how much faster he can take these corners with a lot more downforce in that McLaren car. But anyway, we move along, and now we are under pressure from Lando Norris. He flies straight past in a straight line. We're going to try and fight back into the left-hander here. He defends. We have to go very tight on the apex. We just about squeeze through. Stroll gets a position as well as Norris is beached on the curb, and he's left with very little room on the outside there. And Lance Stroll was able to take advantage of that and get that position ahead of Lando Norris. So as we move on now, Lance Stroll coming along to take the position away from us now, and he has just about gotten through, but here comes Norris. We make a bit of contact with him, and now Albon to the inside, and Albon absolutely sends a contact with Lance Stroll as we have to almost come to a complete stop to avoid the crash in front of us. But that is damage for Alex Albon. Lance Stroll holding the inside line as we head towards the next right-hander. Lando Norris is through on us as well, so that's really all gone wrong for us. Yeah, here's the onboard from our perspective. You can see Albon, wheels locked, very, very late on the brakes into that corner. A little bit too opportunistic, I think, but that is a crazy sequence of events. We've lost a bunch of positions though, but we do have one small advantage over Albon now. That is because he has broken the end plate off of the right hand side of his front wing. So if we can take advantage of that, we might be in the running to get that position back. So as we continue on through the roundabout section, this is probably Albon's worst corner in terms of the effect of that damage. You can see how closely we can run behind him, so that shows how slow he is taking that corner. And now we will have an opportunity to take that position, but as will Sergio Perez, who goes to our left hand side along the straight. We might have another 3-wide moment coming up here if things go that way, but unfortunately Perez has way too much straight line speed. That didn't quite happen, but Perez makes the move on Alex Albon, but he's held him up with tightening his line on the exit. We're going to have a good run, and we're going to try and go to the inside of Albon into the next right hand corner, and we're just going to squeeze through on the inside. Albon ailing with the damage, and we're going to be able to take that position away from him and move ourselves up back into what I think is points paying positions, if not very close to it. But Albon is just not going to give up. He's still got decent pace in that Red Bull. We just about managed to hold him off on that occasion, as we were very tight on the apex heading into the right-hander there, but we managed to hold off Albon just then, and we are indeed in 11th position with Sergio Perez now finding his way back into the points after a lowly qualifying position for him. But here comes Esteban Ocon now, and he tries to go past along the straight. Nothing we can really do about that. Ocon with all the straight line speed in the world there, and indeed locks up into the hairpin. Not going to hold him back though, and he is through ahead of us now, and we are starting to struggle in this race on these tyres. Meanwhile, behind you might have seen a little bit of chaos unfolding with Kvyat, Grosjean and Albon battling away. A little bit of contact there, not quite as aggressive as the Albon incident earlier, as Kevin Magnussen retires from the race with a mechanical failure. So it's all kicking off in this race, but Magnussen will take no further part in it after starting from the back of the grid. I need to take a breath, but I can't, because now Kvyat is going past. We're not going to hold him up. He's our teammate, and at this point I'm just going to pit. It's a lap earlier than what was scheduled, but realistically we can't keep fighting on like this. We just had no pace at the back end of that stint, so we're going to come in, put a new set of soft tyres on. It is only a lap early, so we'll just have to extend our medium tyre stint at the end of the race if the softs are not going to last.
Complete, go now.
A lap short of what they should in terms of the planned strategy. Finally can take a breath as we exit pit lane.
Let's get some heat into those tires.
But the work is far from over, because now we have a bunch of traffic to deal with. The first of which is the other Haas of Romain Grosjean, who is currently running in 17th position, or 15th position rather, as we continue on, and we eventually make the move on him down the inside into the hairpin, get that move done. A little bit slow, a bit slower than I would have liked, but we do eventually make that move, and as we continue on, we find our way up back into 12th position with Esteban Ocon ahead of us. So 12th I think is where we realistically are in this race. I don't think we're certainly not running in the points anymore, so 11th or 12th is probably the best we can manage.
Ocon ahead. Okay, gap ahead is 9.6 seconds. They're on fresh softs. Their tyres are 2 laps old. We think they've got at least 3 more stops. The time last lap was a 1:43.6.
Now that is interesting. Ocon is doing a 4-stop in this race as Carlos Sainz retires from the race, and that is going to bring us one step closer to the points. That'll elevate us into 11th position, but there is Ocon making his second stop. That's going to elevate us into the top 10. And now myself and Ocon, we're equalized now. We both have 2 stops to go, and we are ahead of him. So we are now legitimately back in the points, and a top 10 finish is now back on the cards for us if we can keep it together. As we continue on though, Albon is going to put an end to those plans and manages to get around our outside as we head into the roundabout section, and he is through and up into 10th place. We are down into 11th, but we're going to box on this lap, as you may have guessed from setting up the tyres to go onto the softs once again, and we will run those until lap 39. We've been pitting on every 13th lap, so yeah, we will run those until lap 39 and then go on to the mediums for the rest of the race, and then hopefully bring it home in the points. So here we go, new tyres on and out of the box we go. Let's hope we can rejoin in some decent clean air, and we can just push on. That middle stint was actually quite good for that.
We'll be doing one more stop today, 1 stop left in our strategy.
So let's hope in this final stint we can, or its final soft tyre stint, we can keep some clean air, keep some good speed going, and just conserve the tyres.
1 stop left in this strategy. Your pit window will open in 7 laps time.
7 laps? Okay, well, we'll see. But yeah, at the back end of that stint, the tyres weren't feeling anywhere near as bad as they were at the back end of the first stint. So I'm quite happy about that. And I think just all the battling in the first stint really probably put more strain on the tyres. Whereas the second stint we were able to just be nice and smooth the whole time, didn't battle with a whole bunch of cars, and now we can just focus on that same thing as we go down the inside just about of Antonio Giovinazzi. We had to, Kimi Räikkönen rather, we had to go for a pretty big send, but we managed to get the move done cleanly and make our way ahead of the Alfa Romeo. We don't really need to concern ourselves with them, but as we move on, Albon is going to overtake us. So we actually did get the undercut on him after he made his stop. He came out behind us, and we just about managed to hold him off on that particular occasion.
Box. We're adjusting the strategy. Come in this lap.
And I don't know why Jeff is saying that, but anyway, as we continue on though, Albon flies past.
Stay with him. He might make a mistake. We could still regain the position.
But we're going to fight him as hard as we can, because if we don't beat Albon, the chance of points are gone. It doesn't matter what Ocon does. If we can't beat Alex Albon, we will not finish in the points. So we're going to fight him as hard as we can. You can see we're just about holding him off for the time being. But anyway, as we continue on though, I'm going to listen to Jeff and pit a little bit earlier than what, actually significantly earlier than what was planned, 6 laps earlier to be precise. So Jeff, you better know what you're doing, because the strategy we were running, we were on to beat Esteban Ocon. I'm not sure about Albon, but we'll see. So out of the pit lane we go, onto medium tyres for the rest of this race. We'll get an undercut on Albon once again, because he was very fast.
Complete. See these tyres through to the end now.
So yeah, running these medium tyres for the rest of the race now, and we'll see what we can do and where we come home to finish in this Vietnam Grand Prix. But unfortunately we catch up to Romain Grosjean, who is having a very good race, to be fair to him, and we are going to get stuck behind him in the worst part of the track. Unfortunately, he's on old tyres, we're on new tyres, and it's going to take us all the way until we get to the roundabout section, and an outside move on entry there to overtake Romain Grosjean.
Box this lap, please. We need to get you on new tyres and move on to a different strategy.
Can you stop saying that, please? We don't need to box. There's no damage to the car. Well, there might be a tiny chip in the left end plate, but nothing severe. But anyway, as we continue on, we move ourselves up into 12th position as things stand, as Fiat makes his final stop. So it looks like that might be where we stand at the moment, because Esteban Ocon has been...
We're sat in P12. Ocon is ahead of you. Gap to car in front is 27.4 seconds. They're on old softs. Giovinazzi behind. The gap to the car behind is 9.6 seconds. They're on old softs. Your pit window is open. Pit window is open. 12 laps to go.
Esteban Ocon has been absolutely flying. Or should I say, we have been very, very slow. Jeffrey, I don't know what on earth he was thinking with that strategy, but as soon as we come out of the pits, we were slower.
Okay, some information on Raikkonen. They're slowing down. It seems like there's some kind of problem with their car.
I don't care, Jeff, he's behind me. But yeah, as soon as we come out of the pits, we were slower than Fiat on what would have been a pretty similar strategy to him. Otherwise, we had been faster than Fiat for the entire middle sort of section of the race. And for some reason, Jeff decided to tell us to box early, to get onto the medium tyres earlier, as we lose the back end there, trying to push hard. But it just has not worked for us, and we lost so much time in the early part of that stint. Everyone on soft tyres, like on old soft tyres.
Teammate behind is 11.6 seconds.
They were all going so much faster than I could on the new mediums. So Jeff, you have some serious explaining to do in the aftermath of this race, because he's cost us, if not points, definitely cost us.
We're not racing the car behind. Let them pass when you can.
11th position in this race. I don't know if we could have beat Albon in this race. It would have been close, but yeah, Jeff's ruined it with the strategy. We lost a lot of time behind Grosjean as well. That also just comes down to strategy as well. If we just ran longer on the soft tyres, we would have come out ahead of him, and it wouldn't have been a problem. So I don't know what Jeff was thinking with that strategy, but yeah, I should have stuck with what I originally had planned, pitting on lap 13, 26 and 39, but Jeff decided to change it up, and it hasn't worked for us. What a surprise. But anyway, we move on now to the final lap of the race. As you just saw, we had to let past the two Mercedes cars. Bottas leading the way in this one, but we'll see if he can hold on for the victory. Hamilton has won the first two races of the season. It would be huge for Bottas if he could take the win here at a brand new circuit, but we'll see. Hamilton was very, very pacey and catching up when I saw them anyway. But anyway, we move along now to the last portion of the lap. Fiat has actually done a mega job towards the end of this race. He's really closed the gap to me from, as you heard a while ago, 11 seconds.
Blue flag.
And now he is right behind me, partly because I am on very old medium tyres compared to his tyres, but still a great effort by him to close the gap. But unfortunately, in the second last corner, he has to let Max Verstappen pass for the blue flags. We're going to come around the final corner to take P12 in the Vietnam Grand Prix, but
That's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Ferme.
what could have been in this race? Hamilton takes the win. Sergio Perez gets the driver of the day.
Plenty of action here in Hanoi, a memorable race and an impressive victory. So Anthony, what made the difference out there today?
I think that smart tyre management on track and very smooth driving definitely assisted in their victory today. That combination meant they got the absolute maximum out of their tyres at all times.
And I can see the drivers starting to approach the podium for the victory celebrations. A real team victory today. Everybody played their part. Congratulations then to Mercedes, your race winners today.
So it's a third win in a row from 3 races for Lewis Hamilton. Another second place for Valtteri Bottas. Max Verstappen finishes up in third.
Let's see what effect this result has had on the drivers' standings. It's a great result for Lewis Hamilton, who moves further ahead at the top of the table. So, Anthony Davidson, who would you rank as your driver of the day?
Well, you can't fault anything that Sergio Perez did out on the track today. He drove flawlessly, making him an easy pick.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings. Mercedes continue to extend their lead. Meanwhile, Ferrari have improved their position. A strong weekend from them as they fight their way towards the top. Well, Ant, an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.
Ay. I don't know what to say about that race. We could have beat Ocon. We could have potentially even had points. And Jeff, with his strategy, just threw it away. I was a bit frustrated at the time when I came into the pits because Albon was just not letting up and just trying to overtake again and again. So I also thought then that, you know, if we pit, there's the send. You know, there might be a chance that you know, I'll be able to get away from him and just be faster in clean air, but it really did not work out for us. So it's just points were there. We could have got points in this race if things went perfectly, but they didn't. We'll have to wait until Shanghai is the next round, so we can potentially we can get points there, but you know, we're not in a team that can regularly score points. Kvyat has got the only points we have in the very first race of the season, and that's it. And even with that, we've lost a place in the constructors this round as well. So there is that side of things to worry about. Renault it was that overtook us in the constructors. That's a shortcut. But anyway, hopefully as the car improves, we've got that major engine upgrade coming. So if all goes to plan, in the somewhat near future, we will have a car that can score points on a regular occasion, and that major engine upgrade is going to make a huge difference on that side of things. So let's just hope that once that comes in, we can get some better results. But for now, very frustrating. So back to the HQ then. We don't have any resource points at the moment, but we do get a major chassis upgrade onto the car in time for the next race. So that is very good. That will help us out around Shanghai to no end. There are a few tight corners there, but we have an invitational event to go to, driving the 2010 Red Bull around the Zandvoort circuit. So we will go and do that, and we did manage to do that with relative ease. Earned us a bunch of acclaim, and now we can head back to the HQ. We've now got a bunch of resource points and a failed durability upgrade. So unfortunately we'll have to repurchase that, and we'll also purchase, while we're at it, another chassis upgrade, a minor, and that will come in quite timely for the Spanish Grand Prix. But other than that, there's not too much else to say. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.